All right. So in this video, I am going to go through, I'm going to attempt to create a blog post for a travel niche living in Italy as requested by our audience. Okay, so I did a quick related keyword research over here just to see kind of what I am expecting and what I will be creating content around, and if there is any better keyword that I can find to create content around besides this. So what I do see is that cost is something that's super relevant here, right? So anyone who's searching for something around living in Italy, it could mean a lot of things, and we want to be a little more specific. So you could sure create a power page around this, but it's going to be a really long post in order for you to get ranked. So I am going to use a little more specific one, which is called living cost in Italy. And then we'll talk about everything related to cost in Italy. And let's go ahead and do one. So I already created a document. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and start generating some meta title. What is the cost of living in Italy? Italy, food, shopping, drinking, pollution, weather. I kind of like this. This, not so much. 1 year living cost in Italy. How much will my living cost in Italy per year be, right? So this is also very good. And I think I kind of like this because it has a higher CTR value. People are more likely to click on this because potentially everyone wants to know what their cost for a year or month is going to be. So this is a better gauge. So let's go ahead and I'll just to quickly edit this maybe 1 year living cost in Italy. How much will my living cost in Italy per year? How much is my, how much will be? Okay. And then add maybe complete guide. Okay. Let's click next and let's generate some description ideas. Okay. Uh, we will share what you should expect to spend living in Italy for 1 year, how much it will cost, and the expenses you need to take into account. Okay, I kind of really like this. It's super relevant to what we created. Compare the cost of living in Italy and see what kind of expenses you'll have to pay to live there. I kind of really like this too. So let's go with this one. Okay, so now I'm going to generate some outline ideas. So before we get into it, um, this is the target that Outranking is suggesting. Now, this includes all H2 and H3 tags, but the outline ideas that you are generating here will only include H2 tags. So the reason being, H2 tags are your most important tags, and it should have all the fucking and it should have all the um, keywords that people are searching for in Google related to the keyword you're trying to rank for. So it's a slightly different, and I will explain further as I keep going. Okay, all right. So it generated tons and tons of ideas over here that I can then use and create content around. Okay, how much does it cost to live in Italy per for a month? Maybe. What are the cost of living in Italy? I really like that because this makes up a very high level of an outline because most people are looking for cost, and this particular cluster will cover everything related to cost and living in Italy. Okay, then okay, what is the region and how does it affect the cost of living? Sure. So I can talk about most of these things right in there. So I can then go ahead and select some of this, not this one, this one, this one. And let's see if living in Bari, okay, Tuscany, okay, Naples. All right. These are some famous areas that people are searching for that they want to live in and they want to find out the cost for it, right? Okay. Um, oh, there we go. Yeah, southern Italy. All right. There's plenty, right? Like Rome. Okay. Okay. So, all right. I think I have enough here to go around and start creating content around. And we can obviously come back and add more outlines or improve the existing ones or delete the ones that we don't need. So let's go ahead and start adding some outlines. Okay, so it started adding all the outlines, added all the outlines over here. What are the regions? So what I really want to do is I like this is the regions that I'm talking about. These are the places that I'm talking about that people want to live and that they want to create. they want to find out what's the cost is. So I want to move this in here. Okay. Okay, and you can adjust the priority based on what you think is more important or less important, right? Okay, let's go ahead and close this out and see there are cost of living in Italy. So I kind of already have my mind running here. Is like what kind of different cost can be there and stuff like that, right? So I want to elaborate on this particular topic here and see what other sections that I can find. So in order for me to do some research, what I will do is let me just go ahead and expand my screen here so you guys can see a little better. I'm going to go here and go to Concept Builder. Now, this will open up pretty much the same tab in this bigger window, but now you can go through all the other tabs and do the research and add stuff right in this editor and adjust your outlines and start building concepts and everything before you start executing your content. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to section from SERP and see what more can we add here. Okay, let's see. Oh, how much does education cost? All right, that sounds interesting. Let's move it here. Okay, nothing else that interests me here so far. Housing cost for experts. Okay, that sounds good. And we can obviously come back here and rewrite them. Cost of local Italian food. That sort of makes sense. Transportation and fuel cost. That makes sense. Okay, entertainment. This could entertain could mean a lot of things. So I want to be a little more specific. So eating food could also be entertainment, as well as going to party could also be entertainment. So I don't really like this. Okay, medical insurance. But I see that this might not be the right one. We'll keep looking and we'll come back to it. Okay, international cost of living. Okay, cost of living ranking. No, 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 no. Let's keep going. Nope. Okay, cost of trains and cost of taxi, right? So, what is the cost of travel in Italy? So, what I'm gonna, I like this section better, and so this is transportation and fuel cost, right? Like, so maybe we could do this as fuel cost, and I will add one more. Paste this in here and say this is cost of travel. So, what is the cost of travel? So, uh, cost of trains maybe, or right? Something like that. So cost of travel in Italy, that's a little separate thing to the fuel cost. So okay, we'll keep that as well. Okay, I still okay. So I see housing, education, fuel cost. Okay, so we also saw somewhere insurance, right? So I want to find a good topic for insurance. Experts health insurance. Transportation, food, eating out, further information. Okay, schooling in Italy. So instead of going this, I know that I want to add insurance here. So in Italy. Okay. All right. So this is like a bunch of questions here, and sure you can leave them in question, rewrite them, or edit them. I like my outlines like much more concise and readable. So I tend to make this a little as shorter as possible, but it's really up to your style and how you want to choose some stuff here. You could also talk about experts health insurance, but most likely it will be covered in cost in Italy for experts. So I am moving on from there. Let's see more. Let's see more. Food cost, accommodation, extra cost when studying. Okay, so cost of, oh, actually, education cost is right here. So we should be able to easily find content for that. Okay. All right. So you see, there's just a bunch of other things too, right? So let's not worry about all that. I think like this is sufficient for this particular example. So you can see like we have a really strong outline here, where like there's just tons of information that we can write for this particular blog and rank for it, and probably be the best out there in terms of providing value to the user who's searching for something around cost in Italy. So okay, what I will do is close this out now, and let me quickly go to my sections. Okay, so all my sections are here now. And you can see that they're arranged in the way that I want it to be. So in order for me to be more precise, right? So I will say, I don't want to pose it as a question every time. So cost for experts, cost of food, fuel cost, cost of travel, and cost of health insurance. So we'll just say health insurance. What I would really suggest is dig deeper into this and find every type of cost that you can actually. And this will make your content even more powerful than your users. So understand like what is the subject behind this, right? Like this keyword, the subject is living cost. The people are looking for everything around living and cost, or living cost together in Italy, right? So you need to elaborate on that cost factor as much as you can and go as deep as you can in with that content, uh, to have a potential of better ranking. Okay, all right. So I think I have my outline. So I'm not going to go and rewrite most of this here. You can do that yourself. But for this particular example, we'll focus on creating content for this particular section. So what are the cost of living in Italy, right? Let's see. All right. So now what I will do is start creating concepts. So cost of living in Italy. Let's generate. Okay, so cost of living in Italy depends on, so let's close this out. All right. Okay, we don't want to know the price of cigarettes here. Milk and water is expensive. Okay, sure. I really don't want to talk about all of these, any of these in here. I want to say, I want to elaborate on this particular topic, right? So let me start with an introduction. Why live in Italy, right? So this is a pretty general topic that I can expand upon. I don't really need to do much research here to write a little creative paragraph. So I could say write an introductory paragraph for why someone should live in Italy. Okay, let's go ahead and instruct this to write it for us. All right, so I'm not really going to go in deeper into editing the content itself. What I really want to show is how powerful this is and how you can really start creating content super fast and get to that first draft. So let's go ahead and delete this and say, okay, Naples, Pompeii, Italy. Okay, just quickly read through it. Most okay. All right. So let me go back to AI right here. I really like where this is going. So I'm going to cut it short and write for me. Okay. All right. So now it started getting into how and what we are going to talk about, right? Perfect. So it kind of really knows where we are going. Okay, all right. So we don't really need to get here. So this is good enough of a paragraph for me to get started with, and this is probably sufficient. So now let's go back into my sections here and say I want to talk. I'm talking about cost, right? So I want to really elaborate just a little bit here and say that cost of living in Italy largely depends on what areas you live in, right? So I really want to write a small paragraph and then transition into my H3 tags. Okay, perfect. So, what are the cost of living in Italy? So, in Italy, country that has an overall high cost of living. If you are planning to live in Italy for a long term, it would take lots of money to sustain yourself. You should expect to spend about this per month, depending on living expenses in Italy. So, depend. So, I would like to rephrase the sentence just a little bit. You should expect to spend. I don't know the money yet, and we can bold this out right now and come back to this later on. So expected to spend about this much per month depending on where you are living. Okay, all right. Since we asked it to answer for us, I'm going to just bold this out or put an XXX here because I don't know the exact numbers, and my numbers could be really different than what the research already knows. So I will just put XXX, and I know that I need to change it coming back later on. Okay, so now I need to start expanding into my education cost. Let's go ahead and click on this and start expanding upon this. Now let's see what it does. Okay, all right. So look at this. And this is exactly the power of concepts. This is exactly the information that you need. This is not made up information. This is brought from SERP data. And this is creatively already written for better readability and summarized much better than the content that's out there. So now I can say I want to start writing about this, right? So let me insert this and start building my content. Okay. Public and private universities cost about this per year. Okay, this. Okay, so public and okay, I really don't like this one. I really want to talk about public and private both. Okay, all right. So couldn't. So let's just add that here and then keep moving. Cost of living in Italy and oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Okay, all right. So this is insane, right? So let's say I don't want it to lie for us, so I just deleted that and I want to only talk about factual stuff. Okay. Studying at a university level is more expensive for students outside of the EU. Okay, that could make sense. Italy is one of the most expensive ones to live with. Great. Let's expand upon that. Okay, I like what it showed me, but I think it can still talk about this. Okay, so it started going into some statistics that it found over there. We don't really want to get there. But what you can do is obviously do this. This is factual stuff, so we can add that. Okay, we just talked about that. Okay, so we don't want to talk about these two, right? Like this makes no sense for cost of living, for education cost. So this is good enough section for me. I can move on to the next one. Expensive cities offer luxury housing. In general, living in Rome or Milan is comparable to living in NYC or London. You can expect to pay around this for one bedroom rental in mid-sized city. If you want something in between, it's around okay, all right. Like how much like this is like sufficient information to know everything about cost for expert when it comes to this, right? So we can add all of these ideas in, and if you still want more, you can go do the research, come back here and add some more content here, generate the concepts and start adding it into your content. So let's go down here and see our cost for experts. Let me copy that and start building this out. All right, so it kind of already covered what it needed to, and added a little more context that it's comparable to other countries. So if you think this, like it's really dependent on the the cities that you live in, and which totally makes sense. Look at that. All right. Okay. All right. So I think this is sufficient for me to move on. So obviously you can do some final editing later on, but I just constructed, let's say, 556 words, and we did this. We created the outline, and we wrote 556 words in less than 20 minutes. So um, okay. And similarly, you can keep moving on, and start creating all the sections, expanding upon it, and writing this content. Easy as that. And I guarantee you, this is going to be more powerful than any content that's out there. Use this method, the method that I showed you guys in this video, for creating your outline, which is finding the subject and like nailing it down, right? Like the subject over here is living cost. I want to cover everything about living cost in Italy, and that is how I create more powerful content. And that's about it. So I hope this video was really useful in helping you create uh, travel blog. And if you have any questions, drop any comments or DM me, and I'd be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll keep doing this videos with different niches to help you guys out. See you later.